Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reading chapter 3 of Crumbling Kingdoms, Hearts, and Minds. This is my own original story with my own original characters. I hope you enjoy! Chapter 3 Libraries, Mysteries, and Foe. Once outside of the tavern, she pulled out the map and started towards the woods. She stayed under rooftops and awnings to keep out of the rain. She walked straight into the forest. The forest wasn't very dangerous. Alice wasn't concerned about it. She only brought the hatchet to cut weeds and low branches out of her way in case it had been a while since the old woman had visited. Walking through the forest was easy. There was a bit of a stone road left. Most stones were buried by the earth, and weeds and branches were a little higher than her head. Tree tops and leaves were so thick that the rain was spitting out between the leaves, barely hitting the ground, let alone Alice. A long while following the map, she was tempted to turn back, and seeing this as a bust, and a part of some lies an old woman who was starting to lose her mind. She walked a bit farther, and there was the end of the trail. The map told her that she was there. Alice saw nothing, but she took a few steps further, seeing a potential clearing in the trees. The rain thickened, pouring harder onto the ground. Fog had formed onto the ground as well. She pulled the map into her coat and took out her hatchet. She saw something big loom in the shadows. It looked like it could have been a building. She repressed her hopes to keep from disappointment. She touched the shadows. It was a building. She walked around trying to find an entrance. She quickly found it. The building was huge and seemed to be in almost perfect condition besides growing vegetation. She opened the door and let herself in. The room she found herself was completely dark. The room smelled like melting wax and vanilla cake. She held her lantern up and out to see the room better, but nothing came into view. "Hello?" Alice yelled into the room, in case there was someone there as well. Instantly, the light shone on. Alice screamed at the sun in action. The room was filled with golden statues, each holding books and candles. The ceiling was lit with hanging chandeliers and upside-down candles. She looked around the room. It was long, and the farther away the statues were smaller, or was that perspective? There was another set of doors on the other side, only about 20 feet away. She dashed over the doors, wanting to be out of this odd room. She pushed the doors open, and they slammed shut behind her. She went to say something, but her mouth didn't open, and she started to feel a little sick. It wasn't very much, just a lingering feeling of nauseousness over her head. Alice peered up. She was in a library. The room looked bigger than any ballroom, with shelves almost reaching the ceilings. The shelves had to be at least 2 stories tall, each filled with books. Ladders were attached to the shelves, with wheels making them mobile. She thought the library was only 1 story tall, but looking up, she could see a second story peering over the first floor. The library was well lit and looked to be well taken care of. Everything was clean. Alice didn't even see dust as she ventured into the middle of the room. There was a long carpet leading to the back of the library, which looked like it could be a lounge area to read. She walked further into the library, walking down the bloody red carpet. As she walked, she thought the place looked like it was frozen in time from when it first opened. Books looked like they had never been opened. Everything just felt strange. She started to get a bad feeling. It was a long walk to the lounge, and she started speed walking there. The lounge was made up of fluffy blankets and pillows and stuffed toys. Everything was colored in cream, pink, baby blue, lilac purple, soft mint green, white, and other soft colors that could have made snow look gray. There was a light-colored coffee table, piled with books, and a teacup half filled. Alice touched the cup. It was still warm. The books on top of the pile had a red bookmark in towards the end. Someone else was in the library with her. Alice put the lantern and placed it next to the table. She placed her hatchet under the lantern and slipped her hood off and laid it over her coat and bag. She then taken the slip of paper out now. She could browse for books and hunt for the old woman's book. Alice was so happy that she found the library. She thought the old woman was lying, but it turned out to be true. Though the sick feeling lingered over her, she felt that there was something off. Whoever was with her in the library must have been browsing books. As they left their things in the lounge, she took the slip of paper the old woman wrote and left. Alice spent a long while browsing and reading the backs of covers, finding a few books she was desperate to read. She always was on the lookout for the old woman's book, but couldn't find it in her search. But Alice also wasn't looking in every aisle for it. She went through a few fantasy sections and one aisle in history section, finding these 3 fantasy books and 1 history. She started back for her own things and set the books down and seriously started looking for the old woman's book. She noticed that the woman neglected to tell or write what genre the book was, which would only make it harder to find. That's it for now. Sorry, this chapter's kind of short. I wanted to keep it pretty short. I'm keeping them short for myself so that I feel like I'm accomplishing stuff and I don't neglect it. But thank you. I do have a Wattpad account, which I update the story over there. I think I've got 8 chapters right now over there, so you can head over there to read it. I'll have the Wattpad link, and you can also find it in my Linktree link. I think it's going to be the first link you find there. But I also encourage you to check out my other social medias, such as my Instagram. I'm more active over there. My Twitter, Artful, and whatever else is there. But thank you so much for watching. Bye bye! Remember to like and subscribe.